Hello everyone. So we're still working on the Lennox SL280UH135V as in Victor 60D-03. In this video, I want to tell you about the gas valve, okay? How it works, how to check it, and how to remove it. As you see these wires, I removed them while I was testing the draft inducer assembly. Usually they are bundled with these wires, and I cut all these wire nuts in order for me to remove the wire so I can track it. I didn't explain in that episode, that video, that there are two ways to test this. You can find the switch disconnected and put the power here, go from low speed, high speed, or if you want, you can cut them and then test it and put them back. So let's work on the gas valve. So gas valve basically is a part that manages the gas flow. And in this case, we have a two-stage gas valve. It has low and high. Usually low and high are a little bit more complicated. They are more expensive. Generally speaking, Lennox parts are expensive more than other furnaces. I like Lennox. They are not bad. I mean, they are good quality, good furnaces, especially the old ones. They never break, these guys. Anyway, so the gas valve controls the flow. There are two wires here. There are many ways to check the gas valve, either by thermometer, multimeter, multimeter, or you can always see if there's voltage coming here. If the voltage are coming here and the gas valve doesn't work, there's a problem. Sometimes can be in old furnaces. Usually there's a small valve in there that open and close a zillion of times every winter. Could be stuck. Old gas valve, not like 5-10 years old. Older, I'm talking 20 and more. Also, sometimes water can damage it. Any kind of water come to it, especially this guy has a lot of electronics in here, can damage it. Other than that, gas valve can work forever. It all depends on the who made it. So I'm gonna show you quickly how to remove the gas valve and put it back. In case you want to replace it, you need wrenches. You will need these wrenches to remove the wires. Again, the pipes. Again, I'm not gonna do it, but so just, you know, you have to be prepared. So here we are. I'm gonna show you quickly how to remove the gas valve. Basically, there is one screw in here. This thing comes off very easy. Okay, now there are 4 screws in here. When you remove them, I'm not gonna do that. You can just imagine. So when you remove them, these 4 screws, the thing comes off very easy. The gas valve. Now it's very important to take pictures. Okay, and I always recommend people who are taking pictures, especially like for a control board, don't just take one picture and that's it. Take a picture from every angle possible if you are doing control. That's something I'm going to talk about later. But generally speaking, be generous with the pictures, because if there's one wire in the other corner that you can't see, you're going to have a problem. And these control boards, any mistake you make, they're very easy to, it's very easy to fry them. So when you're doing any electronic, take a lot of pictures, like from here, from there, from here to the bottom. So be generous with it. So take pictures for the gas valve, just to remember where you put the screw, the wires, because you have to remove them, and then you're gonna take the gas valve, take it apart, and replace it. Very important. There is an arrow. There's an arrow on the gas valve. So if you take a picture, you know which directions you have to follow. But in case there's an arrow, I will show you later. It's hard to see, but there is an arrow that tells you the inlet and outlet of the gas valve. So always remember, very important to put it in the right direction. Just make sure the wires are there. And there's a very old-fashioned way to check the gas valve, which is really funny, which is basically you get a contactor. You know, like if you do HVAC, you're a technician, you're learning, you know what I'm talking about. Contactor of the AC, which is 24 volt. I know it sounds crazy, but this is very homeowner, I mean for homeowners who are not very, they don't like these terminologies. It's sophisticated, like a multimeter and the voltage and stuff. If you take this wire, for example, and you put it on the contactor of the AC, which is 24 volt, but you have to follow, low and high. This is a two-stage gas valve. If you put on a contactor, if you don't have a multimeter, you can feel the contactor is, the hammer is, clicking, so there's power coming to it. That's a simple way. Other than that, you have to use multimeter for technicians. Okay, so this gas valve, you remove these, comes off. Very important when you do these, when you put it back. I have seen some technician, they use a huge wrench, to tie it, to connect it, and then they go crazy on it. Like sometimes you cannot even take it out. Remember, gas pressure is not too high. It's like whatever, 8, 7, 6, 7.5 water column, which is very low pressure. And I'm not saying just you tighten it with your hand, but when you tighten it, just give it a couple kicks and that's it. That's what I recommend, because gas with these thing is not gonna leak. You don't have to go like you almost break the thing. Just take it easy. Okay, so I think this is all what you need to know about the gas valve. Now remember, when you have no power coming to the gas valve, it's not always something wrong with the control board. Okay, sometimes rollout switch, when it's tripped, like let's say there was too much heat in here. I already have a video about the rollout switch, and it's tripped. And some furnaces, that gas valve, that rollout switch, it does not interrupt the main 24 volt for the furnace. Sometimes it interrupts only the power for the gas. Sometimes it interrupts only the power for the igniter. Some furnaces, I don't remember all of them. So a lot of time before, when you check here and there's no voltage, again, it's not always there's something wrong with the control board. It could be that there's something that it's preventing it on purpose. So you have to know, you have to check if there's any limit switch that it's tripped. There's one here, there's the main limit switch, sometimes can be tripped. And there's also the other one here, same thing. Sometimes in some furnaces like this one, they have a rollout switch in the back of the blower housing. Now the other thing you need to know is sometimes if the main limit switch is already interrupted, it's already tripped, and the furnace is very, very hot, if you wait a little bit or you turn the fan on because you want to cool it down, and this high limit switch can maybe reset, and then you can check the gas valve again. Don't check when it's really hot and the furnace have it on all the time. And maybe when you get there, as soon as you get to the job, maybe that limit switch, it just tripped because the furnace was so overheating. Who knows, the filter, maybe it's dirty, and maybe they use a very, very sophisticated, expensive, restrictive air filter that's blocking the air, and the furnace is overheating. Again, I'm not saying about Lennox, but some furnaces, the limit can only interrupt the power to the gas valve, and then let it cool down. Let the blower run to cool it down, and then you test. Then maybe you can have 24 volt for the gas valve. Okay, sometimes can be a shortage. Sometimes can be, if there is no power, of course, there could be a shortage. Could be something else. Don't right away think like a lot of homeowners. They just think, oh, it's a control board, and then they order it, and then it's not. Again, these, I talked about these earlier. I don't know if you can see them, the adjustment. These two, they adjust the gas pressure of the furnace. Again, I don't recommend you do it. If you know how to do it, good for you. But believe it or not, in my experience, since 1998, a lot of technicians don't know. And I remember I had a job. I know one guy. I met him. I know him many years. I saw him. He's not my friend, but I see him in the supply houses, and he was talking to his friend about a furnace that they installed too big for a small house, and it was overheating. And I told him, have you tried to adjust the gas valve? He was like, oh really? They don't know. And this guy is busy, he got big jobs. So they don't know. I learned this myself, honestly. Even the school didn't teach me. I remember the teacher said to me, do not touch it. It's already set by the factory. But if you know how to adjust it, Believe it or not, if this thing is adjusted perfectly, the furnace can live forever. The only reason, I mean, most furnaces who deteriorate quickly is because the pressure, the gas pressure, the fire is too strong. So let's say you should have a hundred between, it depends on the house, if it's new, it depends on the insulation, on the windows. But let's say instead of having like 110 degrees air coming supply, you know, this is supply, by the way, for homeowner who they want a basic, like they don't understand anything about furnaces. Furnace has a return, there's a blower that suck the air in and bring it up. This is the supply. So basically heat goes here in cold, and then because of the heat exchanger and the fire, the heat comes out a little bit warmer, and then as the circulation keep going, that's how you warm up your house. So let's say you need to have 110 degrees, right, coming out of here. And then if you put your thermometer, if it's not adjusted, it's like 180 degrees. So your furnace is heating the house, but it's too much heat. So the furnace is deteriorating because you have a lot of fire going there, and you don't need it. Plus, another thing that homeowners don't understand is, let's say this is supposed to be, you're supposed to have 80% furnace, right? For a homeowner, if you don't understand, 80% is what you pay for the heat that heats your house, and 20% is the heat that you pay for, but it doesn't heat your house. It goes into the atmosphere. So that's the heat coming here. That's why when you put your hand on the flue pipe, it's like it's burning, right? It's hot. But if this is adjusted, let's say you need 110 degrees, right? Again, there's formula for this. There are formulas. I know that's. I just want to indicate this for homeowner to make it simple for you. But as technicians, we have equipment, an instrument we can check. You know, what's temperature of the air coming in, what's temperature coming out. It's called delta or something. Correct me if I'm wrong. But as far as my experience, I really don't need all these things. I know that anywhere between 110 and 130 is perfect. It all depends, 130 coming the temperature of the supply. Now, it all depends on your house. It all depends on the duct. If the duct was poorly made, if the return is too small, there's a lot of factors. But generally speaking, I have seen houses that air temperature was 100 degrees, and they never complained. And this is in Illinois. They never have a problem. So usually I set it 110, 120. And when you set it like that, the furnace honestly is cooler. It still can heat your house, but it's cooler. It's not like frying like 180 degrees. And a lot of time when you have it high temperature, if you are sitting like under the, let's say the basement is downstairs and you have the furnace just right there, that return bring like very hot air. And if you have a nice, really fancy, expensive hardwood floor, that's gonna dry it so much. So again, it's a lot of information, but it's all connected to this guy here, because if you know how to adjust it, the furnace is gonna live way longer. And a lot of times I go to a furnace 10 years old and it's so rusted, so deteriorated, and I look at the temperature, man, it's like frying like 170 degrees. It's like, imagine you're cooking and you have a pan, right? And then it's a small pan, like say like 2 or 3 eggs, and you have the biggest eye of the stove, and it's like open all the way wide, like 5, you know. So to go back to my point, if this is supposed to be 20% going to the atmosphere, let's say you pay $100 a month for your gas bill, 80% heating your house, $80, $20 is just a waste. Now when this guy is 170 degrees, you might be paying only 70% of your bill, $70, $30 is going into the chimney. Why? Because the fire is going like crazy. Okay, and in my warehouse here, when I first moved, I have hanging unit. You cannot see them. I adjusted it. The flue pipe was like almost like frying because the flame was too strong. So this is 2-stage. Usually 1-stage like this one. Uh, Usually 1-stage like this one have only one, which is much easier to work on, and it's very easy to adjust. It's one because this one you have to wait. You have to remember, a homeowner. I think it's not good if you are really like engineer and you have a lot of technical understanding. If you understand which one is what time is the first stage, you adjust the first stage. I don't know if you can see it. Right? You can see it says low high. If you know you are on low, you can adjust it. If you know you are on high, you can adjust it. But if you are doing this, I would say if you can put the thermometer in the duct. Remember, there's a duct. This isn't just a furnace. It should be ducting here. If your thermometer is here and you are on this first stage, and you can adjust it. Okay, I'll show you quickly how to do it. But again, please, homeowner, if you don't know what you're doing, be careful. It's very dangerous. But at least I want to give you an idea. Maybe you can tell the technician, hey, can you make sure the air coming out is safe, and it's like 170 degrees, and then you remove this. There is a small flat. I can show you in the small one, the regular one. See this one here? That's easier. You see, you can remove this, and then you can, there's a place here, you can see it, it's like a flat. So you can adjust it, right? But be careful because it's not like a faucet you open. You have to go, I would say first, if the temperature is very high in here, you can go one complete round like this, okay? And you watch the temperature. If it's 180, again, this is more for technicians who are learning, so I don't, again, I'm afraid I'm getting myself in trouble. Because if the owner, you want to work on this, it's not for you unless you understand exactly what it is. So you go one complete round, complete circle. Again, I forgot to tell you, counterclockwise is less gas, and clockwise is more gas. So you don't want to go, if the temperature is too high, you don't want to go clockwise. You have to go counterclockwise. So when you do one round, you keep watching temperature. If you feel like it's going down, you have to give it time though. This is the problem. You have to give it at least 5 minutes. And then if it's going down, let's say it went to 60, and then you give it another huge round, like complete round, right? Complete circle, and then you watch. So when you get to between, I would say between 110, 120 to be safe, because again, I don't know if you have a good insulation. I don't know if you have a good windows, if your home if it's a condominium, if it's a house, you know, if you have a standalone house, it's more, it's going to be more subject to cold air. So at some point when you get to the point it's like 115, you're perfect. This is single. Okay, now two stage, I recommend to set this to 95. Again, if it's a new house, if it's a new house and you have a brand new insulation, everything is so insulated, I would say you can do first stage even 95. Again, it's not built on any engineering or formula. I don't want to get you into this complicated, sophisticated thing. But if you set it at 95, first stage, you know, it's gonna work. It's gonna heat your house. I know it's gonna be too low, but again, it all depends on the technician, because the technician can set it to 95 and see, because again, first stage is nothing. First stage is very, I mean, it's not powerful. It's almost like I would say 0.5% of the capacity. That's another video. I'm going to talk about the stages. Okay, and the other one here, the high stage, again, you can do it 110, 115. Again, you have to know when the stage belong to each adjustment is going on. Okay, so these are the things. Now again, this is what I see about what I learned within 26 years about the temperature. I have adjusted many temperatures and no problems. There is one case I remember, I had to go back because I adjusted to 110. But again, the house is so old, poor insulation, windows are drafty, so I had to go back and jack it up to 125, 130 because they couldn't afford it. I think that's all I have to tell you about it, and for the gas valve. And I'm gonna be doing another video for other components. Thank you for your time.